We are learning Mishna is Kesubos, Perek Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah, Mishnah 5. Now, in the previous Mishnah, we discussed how the difference between an Einas and Mafata, difference between a violator and a person who seduces the 12-year-old, the Nara who is a Psulo, is a virgin. And one of the differences was that the Einas, the one who violates, Sheisa Batzitzai, drinks from his pot, which was a form of saying that he has to marry her no matter what. Again, if she and her father, if her father and she agree, but if they do agree, then he doesn't have a choice, no matter what the situation is. So now Mishnah Hay explains Keitzah Sheisa B'tzitzai. What does he mean exactly that he drinks from his pot? What is the meaning of that? And the answer is basically, even if she has some kind of a physical, she has a physical deformed in some way, and because of that she's very unattractive. Nonetheless, he has to marry her. Even if she is lame, she limps. Even if she's blind. Even if she was mukashchin. Mukashchin literally means stricken with boils, but it's an expression that means saras. She has saras. I don't know if this in this context it means the saras of the chumash. It means leprosy. But the point is she's got this, white skin disease that definitely makes her very unattractive. Nonetheless, the whole point is that the Einas must marry her. That is the expression of Sheisa Batzitzai, that he drinks from his pot. You choose a pot, whichever one you choose, whether it's nice or not, if that's the one you choose to drink from, that's what you got to drink from. And in this case, if this is the woman that he violated, he is obligated to marry her no matter what. Okay, not no matter what, no matter even if she has this kind of a physical deformation or something lacking physically that makes her very unattractive. Now, however, Nimtza B'Davar Erva, let's say that there is a matter of immorality that was found regarding her. Now, that typically is an expression that means that she committed some kind of act of adultery. She commit acting immorality. Davar Erva would mean that she was actually married and she did something and she acted inappropriately. So in this context, what that means is that if, let's say, he married her, he violated her and he married her, and then she committed adultery. She cohabited with another man. That will be a case where we say that he has to, the whole point now of the second half of the Mishnah is going to be that now we're going to have examples of where he does not marry her. Rather, he cannot marry her, even though he violated her. This example will be something where, as Mefarshim explained, that he actually married her, and then she committed some kind of act of adultery. Any woman any married woman who commits adultery is forbidden to her husband, unless if she's not the wife of a Kohen, if she's a wife of someone who's not a Kohen, and she was violated, that's a different story. She can remain married to her husband. But if she willingly did an act, she makes her forbidden to her husband. The point of now, so you can really ask, if so, what's the point here? I mean, if she was married to the person and she committed adultery, she's forbidden like any wife would be. But as they bring down here in the notes, the point is being that in this case, the Mishnah teaches that this rule applies even in the case of the violator who is otherwise prohibited to divorce the woman he violated, right? Meaning he has to marry, he's allowed to divorce her. He's not allowed to. So one might think that even in this case, where she actually did something that would make any other wife to her husband, that she would remain married to him because he's not allowed to divorce her. The Mishnah comes to teach us, no, that in this case where she committed adultery, any wife would be forbidden to her husband, she too becomes forbidden and he has to divorce her. Or let's say it comes out that the woman that he violated was a woman who cannot marry to the Jewish people. She was, for instance, a mamzeres. That's the woman that he violated. In that situation, he cannot keep her. He cannot either marry her or he cannot remain married to her. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, v'loisia leisha, and to him, this is the pasuk by the Einas, by the person who violates the Nara, v'loisia leisha, to him she will be as a wife, and the to him means isha ru'iloi. We're talking about a woman that is fit to him. If it's a woman that he could actually marry, then he has to marry her. But if she's the kind of woman that he's not allowed to be married to or may not remain married to, in that situation, the halacha is that he does not either marry her or remain married to her. Let's do the next Mishnah. It's a small one. Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. Yesaima shenis arsa v'nis garsha. Now, literally translated, the words would sound like a orphan, a girl who was an orphan that had erisin done to her. She was betrothed, means she had the first part of marriage done to her, v'nis garsha, and she was divorced. But it doesn't mean all three together. It's actually two separate cases. Either a yesaima, a girl who is an orphan, or a girl, shenis arsa v'nis garsha, that was married through erisin, and then she was divorced. So the point of the Mishnah is going to be like this. So we say that the Torah says that if a nara basula is violated, the violator pays 50 shkalim as a knas, as a fine. Who gets it? The father. What if she's an orphan? What if there is no father? There's no father. Who gets it then? She does. She gets it then. Or in the case of where she was nisarsa, she had erisin done to someone. That means she had become married, and then she was divorced, which we had this a couple of days ago, this case, where she had become married to someone through erisin, then she was divorced, then she was violated. At this point also, Rabbi Akiva had said in a previous Mishnah that in this case, even if her father is still alive, if she's violated after having erisin and being divorced, who gets the money? Who gets the knas? Who gets the 50 shkalim? She does. So we have here two cases where we say that the knas money of the violator paying goes to her. The point here is like this. Rebbe Lezer says, Hamafata Potter, the one who seduces her, that's the other case that we've been discussing, the one who seduces her is exempt from paying the 50 shkalim. V'einas chayev, the one who violates her is obligated. What's the difference? Because basically, the seducer means that she agreed. If she agreed, so in effect, what she basically did was she forgave him for that knas. The knas is for violating. If knas is for what he did to her, but she agreed. So if she agreed, in effect, she doesn't necessarily speak out. I forgive you for this. I forgive you the money. But the point is, in effect, the fact that she was willing to do this, in effect, is saying that she forgoes. She says he's exempt from paying that knas, that fine. If it's the case of the einus, it's the violator, he violated her, so he's going to have to pay. She didn't agree. But in a case where he seduced her, which means that she did agree, so that in effect is considered that she has exempted him, or she forgoes that payment of the knas for what he did. And that's the opinion of Rebbe Lezer, and as the Bartanura says, this is the halacha. Right, this is the halacha. Then in the case of the mafata, of the seducer, he does not have to pay the 50 shkalim. Okay, now, v'da'oid. No, she'ain shum chilak b'ser rechilas ben hu mesaper leReuven gufa masha pleni dibra alav mesaper dibra alav mesap. Okay, it's not only talking about where rechilas is not only when the person tells Reuven himself that which so and so said to him, or mesaper derazela eishes Reuven ekreivav, meaning you can have rechilas where you tell Reuven what Shimon said to him or did to him. That's for sure rechilas. But not only that, it's going to be rechilas if you don't tell it to him directly, you tell it to his wife. So-and-so said this about your husband. So-and-so did this to your husband. Or not only to his wife, but any relative. It's definitely, they're not going to be happy about it. They'll be upset about it. And they're going to bear a grudge. They're going to have hatred towards that person who did that. Even if he tells them, don't tell your husband what this person said about them. Don't tell your relative, your cousin, what this person said about them. So it's not going to get back to him. It won't get back to him. It's still rechilas. Because at the end of the day, they feel they're hurt by the fact of what was said about their husband or to their husband or to the relative. And therefore, just telling it to them constitutes rechilas. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.